In the quiet suburban streets of Maryland, 2012, Maria Jenkins was known as the perfect wife. A devoted mother, a loving partner, and the heart of her family. To her neighbors, she embodied grace, warmth, and stability. But behind that calm, picture-perfect exterior, Maria was living with a secret that was slowly breaking her from the inside. Her husband, Richard Jenkins, was having an affair, and Maria had finally reached her breaking point. Maria grew up in a small, close-knit town, raised by parents who believed marriage meant forever. Her mother, a gentle but resilient woman, often said, "Love isn't about the good days. It's about weathering the storms together." Those words defined Maria. She believed in forgiveness, loyalty, and family above all else. When she met Richard in the late 90s, right after college, she thought she had found her forever. He was charming, ambitious, the kind of man who could make a woman feel safe and seen. Their early years were filled with laughter and promises. They built a cozy home in Maryland, had 2 beautiful children, Sophie and Liam. And Maria dedicated herself to being a stay-at-home mom. Her life revolved around her family. She cooked, cleaned, helped with homework, and kept everything together while Richard worked long hours. To her, this was love, partnership, stability, and purpose. But over time, the man she loved began to change. By 2011, Richard's long nights at the office grew more frequent. He was distracted, distant, and smelled faintly of a woman's perfume that wasn't Maria's. At first, she brushed it off, convincing herself it was stress, deadlines, exhaustion. But the signs became impossible to ignore. He guarded his phone like a lifeline, scrolling late into the night, turning away from her in bed as if she wasn't there. The laughter that once filled their home had turned to silence. Conversations were short, polite, and cold. Then one day, while sorting through the mail, Maria noticed a credit card bill. The total was unusually high. Curious, she opened it. And there, among routine charges, she found hotel receipts. Same location. Multiple visits. Over several months. Her hands trembled as reality hit. Richard wasn't working late. He wasn't stuck in meetings. He was cheating. But Maria didn't explode. She didn't scream or confront him immediately. Instead, she went quiet. And she began to plan. Maria started collecting evidence. Slowly, carefully. She checked his phone while he slept, reading texts that confirmed everything she feared. She photographed his car leaving at odd hours. She tracked his lies. Every discovery cut deeper, but she remained calm, focused. If she confronted him, he would deny it. So she gathered proof. Weeks turned into months.
A heartbreak evolved into clarity.
And yet, she stayed, for the children, for the illusion of normalcy. Then came the moment that shattered her restraint. One afternoon, while Maria was out shopping, little Sophie, just 6 years old, innocently asked a question when she returned. "Mommy, who was that lady Daddy brought home?" Maria froze. That lady was Lisa, the woman Richard was cheating with. He had crossed the final line, bringing his mistress into the home they built together. That night, lying awake beside him, Maria's tears dried. Her mind shifted from heartbreak to resolve. She would not scream. She would not beg. She would expose him and destroy his lies where it hurt most. Over the next few weeks, Maria quietly purchased hidden cameras. Small, discreet, undetectable. One disguised as a clock on the bedroom dresser.
Another hidden inside a photo frame in the living room.
She even placed a voice recorder in Richard's briefcase. One that activated with sound, capturing every conversation, every whispered call.
Maria knew Richard's routine better than anyone.
She knew when he'd slip away, when he'd invite Lisa over, and how long they stayed. Each day, her collection of evidence grew. Footage of them laughing together, touching, embracing. Proof that Richard had not only betrayed his wife but disgraced his family. To outsiders, Maria appeared calm, the perfect mother, the loyal wife. But inside, she was preparing for war. By June, plans for the Jenkins family reunion were underway. Every year, Richard's parents hosted the gathering at their Maryland estate. A celebration of love, family, and tradition. This time, Maria saw it as something else entirely.
The perfect stage for the truth. She compiled everything, videos, recordings, texts,
and edited them into one file, labeled Family Memories 2012. When July 4th arrived, the air was warm and festive. Laughter filled the estate. Richard, ever the showman, played the doting father, hugging relatives, cracking jokes, oblivious to the storm about to hit. Maria smiled faintly, blending in, her USB drive tucked safely in her bag. She had rehearsed every step. Tonight would be the night the mask came off. As the sun set, everyone gathered in the living room for the annual family slideshow. A cherished Jenkins tradition. Richard's father connected the laptop to the projector. The lights dimmed, and the familiar hum filled the room.
Maria quietly stepped forward.
"Let me help," she said with a polite smile. In seconds, she slipped her USB into the port, navigated to her edited video, and pressed play. The room went silent. At first, the footage seemed ordinary, a flicker of static, then motion. But within seconds, the faces on the screen told another story.
Richard and Lisa.
In their bedroom. In their living room. In the home Maria had built. The whispers started softly, then grew. Gasps filled the room as the video played on, exposing everything.
Every kiss, every embrace, every lie. Richard froze.
His face turned white. He lunged forward to stop the video, but Maria stepped between him and the screen. Her expression was cold, unflinching. Then came the audio recordings, his voice, confessing his affair in whispers. There was no denying it now. His parents sat in stunned silence. His siblings looked away in shame. The man they thought was perfect had been unmasked. When the final clip ended, the room was heavy with disbelief. Maria calmly reached into her bag and pulled out a set of papers.
Divorce papers.
She dropped them at Richard's feet. Her terms were non-negotiable. Full custody of the children, half of their assets, and no second chances. In court, the evidence was overwhelming. The judge sided with Maria instantly. On August 15, 2012, she was granted full custody and financial support. Richard lost everything: his marriage, his reputation, his family's respect. Even his parents distanced themselves, unable to face the shame. For Maria, it wasn't victory, it was liberation. She had spent years holding her family together while her husband tore it apart. Now, she could finally breathe.
Richard's once perfect world was gone.
His betrayal had not only destroyed his family, it had become the very thing that defined his downfall. The Jenkins family would never forget that reunion. A day meant for celebration turned into a reckoning.
Maria Jenkins emerged stronger than ever.
No longer the perfect wife, but the woman who found her voice and reclaimed her life from deceit. This is the story of Maria Jenkins, a woman who refused to stay silent and who turned betrayal into power.